76 consecutive integers. So we understand that consecutive integers are integers, whole numbers on the number line that come one right after the other. Whether they're positive or negative, they occur in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Those are consecutive integers, just like -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, and so on. Those are consecutive integers as well. They occur one right after the other, and each one has a value of 1 between them, a one whole number from one to the next. So understanding what that is, we are given some problems on how to determine which specific consecutive integers someone is talking about, or how to solve a word problem that identifies those consecutive integers. So our first problem we are given is find 3 consecutive integers. Okay, so I have the first integer, second integer, third integer. Now my first gut feeling is to call these x, y, and z. If I do that though, I'm going to end up with 3 different variables and 3 different formulas to find each variable. Wouldn't it be easier if I just did one variable? And because I know it's consecutive, the second one is going to be n plus 1. The third one is going to be n, it's supposed to be an n, plus 2. So, aha! Now we have one variable, but we also have a way to define that variable and the next consecutive variables by adding to that original number. So whatever that is, we just add 1 for the next one and 2 for the next one. And that means we can do all of that in one equation. Okay, so we've defined our 3 consecutive integers with values. So this says to find 3 consecutive integers such that, and here's where you have to pay attention, such that the sum of the first and the third is 146. So the sum of the first and the third, so that's going to be the first one plus the third one, is 146. So we can combine like terms and have 2n plus 2. Then we can swim fish to get rid of that negative or that 2. That ends up being, this cancels. 2n equals 144. Now we divide by 2 on both sides, and I can cancel that, and I can look here and say 140 divided by 2 is going to be 70, with 4 divided by 2 is going to be 2. So n is 72. So I know now that n is 72, which means that my second consecutive integer is going to be 73, because 72 plus 1 is 73. And this is going to be 74, because 72 plus 2 is 74. So those are my 3 consecutive integers such that the first and the third equals 146. And if you want, you can go back and plug those numbers in and add them together and check your work. That's entirely possible, but that is correct. So let's try this again. Get another problem, a word problem here to work. Let's see, we are given, find 3 consecutive integers. So let's set that up again. First, second, third. And they are consecutive integers, so we do the same thing. n plus 1, n plus 2. All right, such that twice the sum of the first 2, okay, twice the sum of the first 2, so that's 2 times n plus, and the second one is n plus 1. Okay, twice the sum of the first 2 is 2 less, so that's going to be in -2, then 3 times the third. So less than 2 plus 3 times the third. So that's going to be n plus 2. So 3 times the third is that. So we have a little bit of distribution to do here. So we're going to go ahead and combine these like terms. So that's 2n. Now we're going to distribute. So that's 2 times 2n is 4n, and 2 times 1 is 2. That's negative 2 plus 3n plus 6. Now we swim our fish, and we are going to subtract 2 from this side and subtract 3n from this side. All right, so that cancels, that cancels. So now we are left with n, because 4 minus 3 is 1, equals, we have negative 2, and negative 2 is negative 4, plus 6 is going to be 2. So n is 2. So the first number is 2, 3, and 4 for the third, and that is our answer. And that is what the book says. Yes, we are correct. So it's once you understand how to set up your consecutives with the formula, with all of them using the same variable, it's really easy to compare them and find your answer. And then from there, it's just subbing in n for each equation here to get the answer. All right, let's do another one. This one says to find 4 consecutive integers. Okay, so let's change the color of our pen and go over, let's just go down here. So we have 4, so that's first, second, third, and fourth. Consecutive, so we have plus 1, plus 2, plus 3. So they'll be all in a row. So now our problem says find 4 consecutive integers such that 6 times the sum of the first and the fourth. So here's the first and here's the fourth is 26 less than 10 times the third. And the third is n plus 2. So now we just distribute. Again, we add this together, make that 2n, so our distribution is easier. 6 times 2n is 12n plus 18 equals negative 26 plus 10n plus 20. All right, so we can combine these two, and that would be negative 6. So 10n minus 6. So now we can swim our fish. I'm going to bring 10n over here, and we're going to bring our 18 over here. And we're going to draw our line, and then that leaves us with 2n equals, this cancels, negative 6 and negative 18 becomes negative 24. Don't freak out if it's a negative. If it's a negative, it's a negative. We have negatives as integers, so it's perfectly fine. So now we need to divide, and we divide by 2 on both sides. N is going to equal a negative 12. Now, if your number is a negative 12, remember, we don't adjust our problem here. It's not negative 12, negative 13, negative 14, negative 15. We actually have to do the math. So negative 12 plus 1 is going to be negative 11. Plus 2 is going to be negative 10. Plus 3 is going to be negative 9. And those are consecutive integers coming one right after the other on the number line, and they are correct. So you can see how you need to set up your variables to create the values, and then once you are given what it equals, then you can create your equation and then find the value of the first consecutive integer, which will then help you calculate the other 3. Okay, and that is all we have for lesson 76. I'll see you in lesson 77.